Hello collective, welcome back to Soul Measure traffic video. So I guess right now I'm going to talk about like some experiences I've had that were kind of overwhelming, would feel like a understatement, I guess. So I'll start from the most recent, as far as I can remember, to as far back as I can remember. So I saw I don't know if who's seen like I think I'll put the picture up, but it was like a star that was falling very slowly. There was a half moon on top of it, and like a wave, a puff of whatever astral smoke. It looked like a little mini solar system in the middle of the sky, and this was like earlier this week. Oh, sorry, kind of the middle or towards the end of last week. And like I took a picture of it. It was behind a tree, and by the time I drove around to kind of get a good look at it, because I was driving around these mountains. It had like drops like beneath the roof of a house, and it was just blocked from view. And then it just like looked over again. It was a clear view at it, and then it was just completely gone. It's like, I know I'm not seeing things, but I just kind of watched it progressively just drop and dissipate. Let's see. And my dreams lately have become more vivid, and it's been involving animals though, like an eagle, which I was able to see one on my trip to Yosemite, California. And yeah, I got to see a bald eagle just soaring across the sky, as well as a golden eagle. Said they were natural to the territory. And I think I saw a falcon, not entirely sure, but I've only seen one owl in my entire lifetime. So that was an experience for me, just kind of standing off the side of a mountain, peering over, and seeing different types of wildlife like that. And see, I'm trying to think, like the one right before that. Oh yeah, so it was weird. It was a bald eagle, right? And it was going to be a bunch of people. Doesn't matter, whatever. You feel how you feel about it, but this was the dream. It was a bald eagle, right? When it spread its wings, there was a Mexican flag. So I mean, hey, you say what you say, you feel how you feel. But I was like, oh, in my dream, I was actually like, I was happy to see it. I was like, oh, that's cool, right? It was just like, it looks dope, and then it's just like, it was a dream. So I woke up, and then the dream before that was it was more intense. It felt a lot like, something trying to take me off before I slipped off the side of the road, and it was like some gravel, and like it was a dirt road, and topped with like blacktop. I was walking on the blacktop, and all of a sudden I guess I had lost sight of it, and it was like to me it seemed like a clear message. I'd lost sight of something and slipped off the side of the path, and then I see a bunch of sheep, and out of nowhere this black goat just come, it looked like a little baby goat. It was cute, but I was like, do I combat it, or do I try to get back on my road? And every time I tried to get back on my road, the goats would be, charging at me. It's a black goat. I was like, it's adorable. I was like, should I try to step on it to get back on my path? But and I'm trying to, I guess the message is, don't get distracted in the first place, right? And keep your eyes on the prize. And I mean, it's a pretty, like I said, pretty clear message. And there's gonna be people who, want to butt heads with you, and like, you just ignore them and get back on your path, because he wasn't hurting. I wasn't falling down. It's just like, he was just there, being combative. It's kind of like a person that wants to fight you. It's like, hey, I want to fight. It's like, well, I don't. And you just walk away. And if they decide to attack you, then whatever you get to do next, it's just like, it's free reign. Right? So So it was one of those types of dreams. So I just continue to try to get back on my road, and let's see. So, and before, honestly, I wasn't even like having dreams for real. Like, I don't know what, I guess because I was under such heavy spiritual attack, I wasn't dreaming a lot. And when I did, it was always something like weird. And there was one where there was two businessmen in the room, and it was like a real cartoonish dream. And I was asleep, and then one was actually trying to be physically intimate while the other one was like behind me, like or somewhere off to the side, or he would like, that was what he was trying to distract me with, and money or whatever. And like the other one off to the side was trying to like hit me with a needle. And I woke up and I stomped the shit out of him. Like I got up and like beat the shit out of the dude with the needle. And the dude who was like, he was just sitting off like the side of a bed and with his pants zipped or whatever, and he was like hurrying up and trying to put them back on and trying to run out the room. And I don't know, did he get him? No, he actually, that was the one I woke up from that one too. At that time when I stomped his, like literally his brains in the ground. And I looked up the meanings and everything, or what it could mean, and it was all giving me all different, different parts of the dreams, the symbolism of the creatures and what was around me and everything like that. And I feel like the one with the black goat was, trying to keep sheeple, trying to guard against, people chewing on like fake grass or something like that. I don't know. And so fast back to that one, is that he got away into a crowd of people, and I think that's when I woke up the guy with the suit. And let me see, what's another one? And like before, like when I was a child, from my childhood to my early 20s, early to mid 20s, my dreams were like, no, I'll say mid 20s to early 30s. I was like, my dreams were like super intense. I'm trying to think of another one, some more that happened in between that, but they were few and far between. And I do remember one very distinctly. Like, I can't remember it because the feeling I woke up with was overpowering. It was just like extremely overwhelming. And it was a dream about what I believe to be sacrifices, maybe like me being sacrificed through lifetimes. And like there was always a female crying through every sacrifice. It was kind of like the babies being fed to the gators, kind of like what they did to African American children, and during the times of slavery they fed our babies to gators, right? But this was more like this lifetime you get, your baby gets sacrificed to reincarnate as something more powerful, but it's like still tied to the trauma of the realization that your child is being sacrificed, right? Because growth is always painful, right? Transformation is always going to be painful. And I'm just talking about like random experiences I had that have been like, whoa. And my thing is, I was having dreams about Anubis before I even knew who it was. Like, I had no idea. Like, I knew, like, the energy was familiar. It was very comforting to me. It was very, like, it was a comfortable energy to me. But it was just, like, the act was not. It was just, like, it was comfortable, but it was also very intimidating, scary at the same time. But I also felt that I was safe from, the acts. And of course, I don't feel that way when my heart's been weighed, but my heart's never been heavy, unless I felt I was leading people the wrong way, which I don't, like whoever, people have their own discernment though, right? They have their free will discernment. If they choose to follow, they do for whatever reason, and if they don't, then hey, I hope you find what you're looking for, I guess. And like, let me see. Let's see. There, I don't even know if I want to, because I don't even know how to really explain it. Because it was a feeling that was just indescribable. It was like, oh shit, like both hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, like just straight lace. I drove back home like this for the rest of the time on the road, just both hands gripping the steering wheel, but not so tight that I couldn't still maneuver if I needed to. You know, I still kept that in my brain. Oh yeah, there was almost two of those, kind of two of those. And maybe this was the first one, the one that happened before the other one. It's the start of me learning how to do the second one, or getting me comfortable with the transition of that to the second one. I'm not sure, but I was encapsulated by a big white light, right? And it sounds wild, and all I hear is whooshing sound, right? Like you hear Superman in the skies or something like that. And I felt my car lift off the ground. I'm like, am I like it was like just, oh shit, like all I could do was just like, I just froze. And I was like, oh, like, you know, and overwhelmed. I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. But this too shall pass. You know, and I wasn't like exactly calm. But I wasn't exactly panicking. I was just like, I just kept my hands on the wheel. I was just like, oh, what do I do now? And you know, I finally came back to, got back, you know, landed back on solid ground, and I was like, okay, cool. Not sure what that was. And then there was another time driving down that same bridge to San Francisco, down towards San Francisco, and like I see, you know, it felt like a healing energy though. I'm not gonna lie, it felt like very like, you know. And I was like, I was looking down, was I going down opposing traffic and like have a near-death experience? You know, I'm like I should be used to that by now. And I looked, I was driving another time, I think about a week or two later, just to see if that would happen again. But it was just like, no, that entity was actually like moving like lightning fast right past me, right past my my vehicle, kind of slowed down on the side of me. I was like, oh, you know, like saw my friend again. I never saw that experience or had that experience again. And then there was another one, which is like, I felt like phase 2, was on my way to the month-and-a-half gig, and I was driving and I left my body. Like I could see myself driving. Like, and it was no panic to it. It was no calm. I was just all of a sudden out of my body. I was listening to some shamanic music, and I was driving like in the desert lands, right? And I was just watching myself driving, and like I started doing the chant along with the song, but my body was still silent. My physical was still silent, but my spirit was okay. Again, I was looking at opposing traffic. I'm like, nobody's here. Nobody's behind me. You know, I was actually driving with someone, right? And I just had a total out-of-body experience. And I'm like, dude, I just literally like left my body. I literally, like, for like 3 to 5 minutes, I just got back. He had said something, like, and I kind of snapped out of it. Or no, did he? Yeah, I think he said something. It's either that or I came back to it. I was like, dude, either way, he got the news. He was like, what, for real? So I don't know. But yeah, just random times throughout my life, and I don't know if these are like check marks or just pivotal moments in my life, but it was all just healing, and I like felt a different like energy to my purpose. And I was in a sauna too, and it was just like after, you know, this was like after, like during all the attacks, and during like, you know, and they're probably still trying, whatever, like during the attacks and like the portal moments, or, you know, Yahweh would drop a portal, and I'm just like, for real right now? That happened to me like 3 times in the month before I was supposed to go. Like, it got the energy of the, you know, the negativity intensified, and then there was just another better, bigger portal. just like, well, shit. So I finally, like after working a few days, a couple weeks, something like that, finally got to a sauna. And like, I was just able to like feel like I could sit down. I like drank a bunch of water before I got in there, fell asleep, woke back up, went to hit the showers, and I released like some freaking energy. Like I don't know if it was felt or not, but it felt like it was a big force field that like went across the entire town, or as far as I don't know what the radius was. Honestly, the radius circumference. I don't know what how far the reach was, but I feel like it went pretty far. And that's I'm gonna leave that there. But I did see some changes in people's energies and things like that. And I didn't mean for it. It was just like, it's just what was natural to do. And I was like, and then I learned some spiritual sign language, I guess. And it didn't, and like, it wasn't bad energy. It was just like, okay, it might change some things in a good way that people just aren't willing to accept or aren't ready for. And I'm really meaning more harm than good. I don't know. It was but this wasn't in the dream state. This was like in the physical. I'm wide awake. I just had like a power nap in the sauna, and now I'm just like, like finally like, getting just washing my crown, all the way from the crown to the root, and and the water was better than I where I've been not traveling, but kind of settling at, like kind of stationary in some places. So that was cool. But yeah, these are like just some of the experiences, and the out of body experience, and the portals, man. Like it was wild, because it was just like, it would be like out of nowhere, just like, notification on the phone. I look down at the phone, a bunch of nonsense that I need to unsubscribe from, and then there's the portal, jump through it, right? I ended up like starting 2 businesses and working on websites and cars, that put my full focus into them. And I'm like I was contemplating on whether honestly I wanted to have visibility on Google or not. That's been my struggle, because it's just like, creeps. I don't want to have to, but it's like, if you want to spend your money, because the whole thing is you're gonna have to pay before you can come like bust a move. But they probably would never tell you that, right? You have to pay before you even go for like if I come to you, you come to me, or whichever, and those 2 businesses would be dimsum.us. That's one website, and the other website is lifefitlife.com. Just so you know, one is the culinary, and one is the workout, the powerhouse workouts. And it just seems to be how it always happens. Like, I'm like, when I processed everything that's going on, and like what people have said and everything like that, and it's just like, because like to actually try to hurt my feelings, but I'm actually just like, it's not really doing much for either of us, the fact that you're like lurking on my page just to have something to say. But okay, like, you're wasting more time than I am, I promise that. And they, like, and people in passing, because they saw me on the internet saying things that they meant to be hurtful, and it ends up like soundboarding on them. It's like echo chambering back to them. And like I said, I get humored, and it's just like, wow, this person just read their whole family. And I'm just like, I picked up on the energy real quick. It's just like, or somebody, I don't even have to look at a person and know when they're coming towards me with some bullshit. And it's kind of like, how they do. They were treating our demographic of people when they would cross the street when they see us coming. I go do the same thing, cross the other way, and make sure there's space between us. I don't want your nasty trash energy that you keep trying to put on me, because that actually belongs to Yep. So, just a bunch of unwanted opinions that I'm not the one who went out looking for them. I didn't scroll to somebody's page to look for them, or heard something and continue to listen to try to pick apart the person. I just that's a weirdo, psychotic energy to me. But it's yeah, it is what it is. But these are more parts of the the weird and stupid experiences. But it's just like, what can you expect when from the type of people that are actually looking for presidents to save them? So instead of like learning from them and taking the advice that they give, because they're more to be examples of what to do and what not to do. Just like like people in your family, your friend circle, they sit around and judge each other all the time, feel like they know. So like, and they would be like, oh, this person's jealous because we don't, we wouldn't be friends. I'm just like, that type of thing, and just like trying to make you jealous. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I'll extend like my kindness or whatever, I'll give some kind gestures, and based on what how I want to elevate the energy. But other than that, man, it's really not it's not too harsh of a, it's not a loss to me to have somebody like not fuck with me. It's just like, okay, cool, because it's like I'm chilling and I'm always by myself. I could turn this camera right now, there's nobody in any of these other seats, right? Always. I've been by myself for the past 2 years, and most, apart from me being when I was with my son, living together and stuff, when it was just me and him, right? He went to his dad around 8 years old or something like that, and and I did what I could for him, or what he, whenever he needed something, he'd call me and ask. He had no problem with that. It was, it was just me and him, and like the occasional like situationship that could have turned serious, but not really. And then it ended, right? And I have stories on that whenever it comes around. Of course, I have my faults too, which I did offer to fix. Every time it's just like, I do, like when I have people in my life, I do a, like what I call a improvement checkup, where it's just like, is there anything I can improve on? Like, it's like, just random. I'm not trying to manifest anything off that, except for like improving myself, because I'm open to constructive criticism. I got some constructive criticism the other day, which was actually pleasant, on what I could bring to my menu. And I do need to I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know what I would do with all these choices, right? And I definitely need to revise it, because if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, I don't know what to choose. And I'm not exactly indecisive, but I can be, right? Especially when it's not like hella priority, but I was just, going for wholesome meals that, from different nationalities, I'm still working on it, still a work in progress, and kind of change it out to alternating things like that. But, keep it simple. Simplicity is the highest form of sophistication, and I'm getting there, folks. I'm getting there. I just, got some things straightened out, and now I have to go make more revisions. And, things have been cool. Other than that, I'm thinking about what moves to make next as far as the businesses and everything like that. But yeah, people, because, clearly people know me when they see me, right? So, constructive criticism, it goes a long way. But, it's just, I thanked her for it. And she went on about her way. Nice elderly lady. And there was a whole like demon trying it in the back in the convenience store. I'm just like, not even worth acknowledging. Just like, okay, they were, he was like right there behind me or something like that, trying to start some shit, basically. Like, that's how somebody is under demonic possession. It's just like they act like they have to start the shit or they'll die, which is like quite the opposite, right? It's just like, if you go on about your life and you live, right? That's what it is. You go on about your life. not the life that provokes you to come and try to disrupt somebody else's. But hey, people do what they do, and they get what they get from them. I've gotten my ass whooped by karma plenty of times, and what did I do? I learned from it, I grew from it, won't do it no more. I've done stuff that I known was dead ass wrong, and what did I do? I corrected that, not doing that shit again, moved on. These are just the experience. We're just having human experiences, right? And some of them some people never get to experience certain experiences, and other people's get to experience damn near everything. And that's how it goes, or some people experience everything earlier in life, and then later in life they're chilling, or vice versa. It just depends on how you want to move, right? Because it's like these people who are being karmic in their to children, right? Siphoning from children and stuff as grown-ass people. They're siphoning from kids. So what do you think is going to happen in their old age when they can't move around anymore? They're going to be on their sick and deathbeds. And, it's just like, it's kind of this too will pass. And so will they. Those who are throwing all this energy, it's just, only thing it's doing is manifesting in their bodies. It's festering as disease, as some infection or something like that, and an infestation of demons in their body to make it as if they can't even stop seeking people out to fuck with them. And that's because the demon is antagonizing them, and people have been bullied, they sometimes turn into bullies, and it says the devil looks for the weakest vessel. So of course it's going to seek out the weakest source in the room, and inhabit his body, or hers, whatever, and have them going out of their way to fuck with somebody. You don't, it's kind of like don't chase, attract, and these people attracting demons. And it's really not funny, but I've been hearing some hilarious reads over the past few days. It's like, damn, even the angels can get it. It says it goes for the weaker vessel. And unfortunately, from what I've been able to observe, it's been like more masculine energies. Well, it's been, to me, equal parts masculine, feminine energies, but it's been more men than women. And it's been more what I deem to be down low man, because it's just like, what dude is really coming after a female like that? Unless he's on a down low. It's like real toxic feminine tendencies usually, what do you call it? Usually coincide, is that the word I'm looking for? With these down low males, gossiping and, being loud, hypersexual, hyper aggressive, every other sentence is about, sex. Just like, okay, we get it. Jokes, and then they bring these like chicks in who are like one put down artists or dudes or whatever, one trick ponies, and it's just like, okay, so all the jokes are gonna be, these are like sex demons. They have sexually transmitted demons, and probably sexually transmitted diseases. You just never know, and judging by some of the shit I've seen as far as progression and degression, yeah, they if I had to guess, yeah, they got it. They have it. Not saying any names, but if the shoe fits, dirty foot, then wear it. And I said, I know what the fuck I said. It's just like, I don't care how many screenshots you put up. I'm not the same person. So basically, what they're chasing now, they're chasing ghosts, and they ain't even, they're not even catching it, because that version of me really doesn't exist. It's just maybe on their timeline in a different dimension, a different a different plane. I don't know, somewhere else, just not here. Like, I still have a lower frequency, I still have a higher frequency, and I'm not interested in being put into a lower energy frequency where I slide back into my shadows and I slide somebody else right into the shadow realm. You get what I mean? I'm not interested in that. It's So hopefully, then I slid, so therefore I slid these motherfuckers right off my timeline and right out of my energy. It's a done data, like I don't have to, I've never been the type to feel like I had to prove anything to anyone but myself, compete with anyone but myself. And I don't know how people took that as I was like gonna sit there and fucking play with them and like, all this stuff. Of course, I did have my laughs and jokes, but it's just like from the content, you can obviously see that I don't want these people anywhere near me. I don't want them around me, laugh or not. I don't care if you laugh, and like in some ways, I just don't, like I don't know. As far as myself, you can't even play with me like that. You can't play me or play with me like that, because and still be like directly like no, just no. And I still have shit to do with you, and like there's no way. I'm not even gonna look for you. It's just gonna be ghost. And when you're high vibrational, that's all it takes is that you leave, and people, they start hurting and they start doing dumb shit and saying dumb shit. And it's just like when you remove yourself from the energy, like me, I just get quiet on the person. Like I'm gonna let them do them, right? And let them figure their own shit out while I figure my own shit out. And then maybe I won't be repeating the cycle, and maybe they won't repeat the cycle. But some of these energies give the energy of do not resuscitate, meaning they will not be reincarnating here or anywhere. They just won't be. Energy doesn't die, it doesn't lie, but they just won't be like anywhere. There's no timeline that has a need for the existence of that energy, so it'll be sitting somewhere in some level of purgatory, and waiting for a time it is either needed again or something, the vessel that can and will transmute it into something, because energy, two things, does not die and does not lie. And these are energies that were that caused the vessel to decay from the inside out. They were rotting, starting from their brain. And trying to keep it like and from other places, it seems. And I just wouldn't have any deals with it. Some of them you're able to detect it and cut it off right off the gate, and those are, strangely enough, like, because I guess they get enough of your energy from trying to cipher from it the first time. The little bit they were able to sense out was just like they got to get just one little drop of it, right? And they sit up and they pursue you and they try to be a part of everything you do. It's just fucking weird. It's like Stan, dear Mrs., I'm too good to call and write my fans. Bullshit. And you gotta rip them letters up, man. It's just you gotta be that type of shit, make me not want us to meet each other, and leave it at that. Just like, okay, and the whole thing is like you're living proof that those words are interfering, that type of shit, and make me not want us to meet each other. I'm good. I'm cool. I'm not about to beef with you. You're gonna do what you do until it destroys you, and I'm gonna do what I do until it elevates me. Like I've done what I've done until it destroys me, and now I'm gonna do what I do that caused me to raise my frequency. And that's it. I already been through that path. That there are probably a lot of them are probably about to go down. It's just like, well, the videos are here for you to play back, I guess. And me, along with a whole bunch of other YouTubers, you can start from the beginning, which is where they got to start over. They got to start from the beginning. They wanted quick money, quick elevation, quick ascension, which was also pseudo ascension, pseudo frequency, pseudo high vibration. So now they have to they got to start over, man. They got to start over like a baby. They it's like Avatar. It's just like the Avatar, I forgot her name. She was getting irritated because he kept running in his mouth, wouldn't shut up and wouldn't learn. It was just like the people in the back of the class talking about how dusty somebody's shoes are when the rest of the class is trying to learn. You're disrupting the message. You're missing the message because you're looking for the miss. So now these people have to go on their own journey, which is as it was intended. Instead they chose to clump together in a clusterfuck, right, and just make a mess of the messages. Some of them successfully, not so successful, but at the end of the day, you know, when the dirt dries up, you know, if you walk through mud, you walk through a pigsty, you're walking through mud, and then the dirt eventually dries up, turns to dust, crumbles off your feet, and then it, you know, looks a little dusty at the end, but you start to see, you know, you start to see the pedicure, you know, you start to see the story, you know, like I see what you did there, you filed it down, you clipped it, and, you know, you cut the cuticles, maybe put some paint and some gloss over it or something like that, and boom, you know, you got a pedicure, and you saw how you sit there and you watch it all come together, you know, if you keep watching for the right reasons, right? The dirt starts to fall off. It's just like the illusion, the dirt from the illusion starts to fall off. It starts to crumble. It can't stay stuck to you anymore because there is nothing holding it there. There is nothing, you know, it's just, you know, a source that, you know, it has no coagulants. It has no adhesive to keep it there. It's just, you know, sand at the beach. You leave at the beach. So I got the sun shining right in my eyes. I feel like I should take these glasses off, but yeah, that's nice. Yeah, sand at the beach is where it needs to stay, at the beach. Oh yeah, and yesterday, I went to the beach recently, and you know, I found I don't know what kind of vertebrae it is, but it was from a definite sea creature. I was like thrilled by that. Not sure what I want to do with it. And then I saw a blue jellyfish, and I forget the name of it, but it was a good omen. I just saw it like kind of floating in the water, kept my distance from it because I remember what it feels like to be stung by a jellyfish. I don't think it was poisonous. That was one of the reasons I did want to stay away from it, is because just, you know, just in case it was a poisonous jellyfish. Didn't want to be a part of that, of course. So, and then it just kind of washed away into the tides. Didn't see it anymore. It's like I wanted a picture, but didn't get it. Anyway, yeah, sand at the beach. You gotta leave that shit there, man. If you want to be in these spiritual messages and like you want to understand, you gotta leave the dirt. You gotta leave the sand at the beach, man. And your experiences, you know, you gotta chop off all the illusions and saying, why me? Say, you know, what am I supposed to learn from this? You know, what is this experience supposed to teach me? Because it's all a lesson. All of it's a lesson. Even when you're talking, you still learn something, even from yourself. You know, when you speak, you're saying what you already know. You're repeating what you already know, right? Strangely enough, even though even when you're getting downloads, it's like it's esoteric knowledge. It's knowledge that you've known for many lifetimes ago that got lost in translation because that's another one. Okay, so it got lost in translations because of the different versions of yourself being scattered, which is different parts of your soul trying to heal on different dimensions and different timelines, and you know, trying to come back together to build that gateway to heaven, because the ladder to heaven is you becoming whole again, everyone becoming whole again and living chef mixing bowl and living in, you know, harmony and balance, and everybody has understanding, because the start to ending confusion is gaining an understanding, and some people are just dedicated to misunderstanding, right? They're dedicated to throwing dirt on a message. They're dedicated to contributing to the pigsty, right? Like casting your pearls before swine. You know, it happens. And swine, you know, by illusion, right, by the law of illusion, looks like, you know, XYZ, when it's actually not swine. These are also like disciples. Your disciples can look like anything, but because of the dirt that has been thrown on us by the illusion of, you know, some of these laws and some of these earth realm limitations that have been put on us, and, you know, illusions that just, you know, just things that simply aren't supposed to be there, right? We miss the whole message because of, you know, we're still stuck in the illusion. We're still trying to fight, you know, what's real, and, you know, so we can hold on to what's fake. Like, and that's coming to an end, because just like there's a reason that so many people you know, try to oppose people who are delivering messages that, you know, make them more self-reliant, you know, make them more, you know, able to heal themselves. And the healing actually starts in the mind and the heart space. And of course, it starts internally. It starts with your ingestion. You know, like healing doesn't come from pills and needles. Sorry, it's just like you're basically a drug addict, and you know, and all that is also prevention. Like, you know, like I was saying, hospitals are like more, you know, checkups, preventions, and what foods you can eat to prevent. And you know, like if you are actually like on your way out, it's not, you know, it's to save your life, you know, to keep you from transitioning, you know, from something unnatural, right? And the whole thing is like, I was looking, I forgot what it was. It was a YouTube video, of course, and it was showing like there was a lady, she had a African mate, and he was basically, you know, walking around and grabbing plants and showing how right in front of us, right, you know, minus the pesticides and all the other shit they put on the plants and spray through the air, how like there are literally plants around us sitting right in front of us that we can use for a herb or something, like for healing, I mean, and you know, we like literally everything we need to heal, survive, was placed right on this earth, you know, and we were blessed with the intelligence to figure that shit out. But somehow over time, you know, so many illusions have been cast through, you know, this pseudo healing, you know, it's pseudo evolution, de-evolution through pseudo evolution, which would be technology and modern medicine. And you know, that shit is coming to an end, and you can hear that demon just like kind of scratching and clawing through, you know, these people who have accepted or simply do not believe in Yahweh or anything I'm talking about, right? You know, it's just like they just have to. But I feel like those people kind of just, you know, they just don't believe in it and they move on. It's the, you know, it's the religious factors that it's just kind of like, you know, I feel like I have to. Like, you really don't. You can really just go within and go talk to the Most High if that's who you say you believe in. But you're here trying to, you know, they'll come out their way, go out their way, come out of the woodworks, right, and try to make a comment to try to hurt your feelings, and have you look for a fuck to give. It's it's really, it's something. I'm gonna end the video there. Until next time, remember to do something new today, work on something that makes you happy, self-improvement, drink plenty of water, you know, mind a business that pays you, and that could be payment through spiritual, physical, financial, emotional reward. And yeah, mind a business that pays you. And until next time, stay focused on the Most High. Love you guys. Take care.